Welcome to tonight's regularly scheduled City Council meeting. If you'll all please rise for the invocation and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation will be given by Deacon George Yeen with St. Lawrence Catholic Church.
Let us pray. Lord, you have authority over all things. You govern the sun, the moon, the tides, and the seasons. But in your generosity, you share your authority with us, allowing us to govern our own civil affairs. This council gathers again to consider such questions. Give us the wisdom to discern your will for us and the courage to follow it. We ask all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Council, in the work session, I had said that if you wanted to add the resolution for the agenda, it is actually already on the agenda, so you don't have to make a motion to amend the agenda. So that'll be voted on item 28. If you wanted to add an ordinance to change the sales tax ordinance, you could do so. But I wanted to ask the clerk, does that need to be properly advertised to change an ordinance? Does that have to be in the...
It's supposed to be in writing before the agenda.
It's supposed to be in there before the agenda?
Not in the newspaper, in writing.
Okay. We could address that at the next meeting if you would like. I mean, that's not going to affect anything in the budget. So if you wanted to approve the budget, you can do so, but you can't actually address the sales tax ordinance tonight. So I don't think there's any amendments that need to be made to the agenda unless there's something else that I'm forgetting. Is there anything else that I'm leaving out? Okay. All right. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the special called city council meeting, the regular city council meeting, the work session, and the minutes of the agenda meetings. That was also the special city council meeting of November the 13th. Was that on the same day as the city council meeting?
The canvass.
I believe it was, wasn't it, on the canvassing election? Okay, council, do you have any additions or deletions or changes to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the minutes are approved. Mayor Wilson, your report, please.
Thank you, Council President. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday with their family and friends. The following updates are from the supervisor meeting we had Tuesday of last week. We've had a busy last couple of weeks. The lighting of the trees was another success with thousands in attendance. The 3 veterans, I'm not sure if, Jeff, do you have that picture? The 3 veterans who helped switch the lights were the icing on the cake. Captain Don Sauls, if we can find the picture, he was pictured in the red blazer, is turning 100 very soon. And I want to thank Dr. Barry Booth again for his continued help to make this an added tradition. The movie In the Streets was also a big success with between 700 and 800 people lined in the streets. It was the largest movie in the streets yet. Polar Express was shown again, and everybody enjoyed popcorn, compliments of the City of Fairhope and the Downtown Fairhope Business Association. I had a picture of Paige too, because I think the volunteers didn't show up, but Paige made up for it all and wrapped hundreds of gifts in front of Fairhope Welcome Center during the Christmas open house. So thank you to Paige for showing up and doing that. And then the weekend was followed by Plaid Friday and Small Business Saturday. We also have a busy next few weeks ahead of us. There is Santa Saturday, and that will be on December 1st. Both of these are on a Saturday, December 1st and December 8th at 10:30 at the Fairhope Museum. Kids can come out, get their picture with Santa, and then between now and Christmas Eve, kids can drop off their Santa letters to Santa at the mailbox in front of the museum. The Fairhope Magical Christmas Parade is on Friday, December 7th. The annual performance of the Nutcracker will be held on December 8th and 9th. And, of course, lots of busy shopping between now and Christmas. And during the busy shopping season, please remember to support your local independent business. Roughly $68 out of $100 spent in local businesses stays in the local economy versus around 43% spent at chains and big box stores. Fairhope is a town of entrepreneurs and one of the reasons why our city is so unique. To preserve this character, it's important to understand the value of purchasing locally. The police department will be holding their annual pancake breakfast at the Rotary Youth Club on December 8th at 8 a.m. They have winter hats and coats to hand out, but the manufacturer that they were buying the coats from is located in California, and due to the fire, that order was canceled. So we're going to be finding a different source for these coats. All of them might not be distributed on the 8th, but if you're interested in donating money to this cause, you can donate to the Friends of the Fairhope Police Department. We'd also like you to save the date for the State of the City Expo. And I say Expo because we're doing it a little different this year. All of our departments are going to have booths at the Civic Center. It's going to be very interactive. Citizens can come out and visit all of the booths. It gives you an opportunity to not only meet the people in that department, but also ask questions and understand what they do to serve you. I think that's my alarm. I don't know why. We're also going to have lots of handouts, not only what the department's doing and what is being accomplished, but also, you know, what the future plans are. So I definitely encourage you to come out on January 24th from 4 to 7 during that time period. So, and I'll be making more announcements as well. But to join us on the State of the City, that's going to be more of a fun, interactive expo. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Wilson. Next item is public participation. If you have anything you'd like to share with the council concerning items 7 through 31, you please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Items 5 and 6 are public hearings, so you'll be able to speak to those items during the time that they're introduced. So if you have anything to speak to on items 7 through 31, the podium is open.
Y'all doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. My item is 31, and before I give you my pretext of why I'm here, I wanted to exclude a part on that mentions the alcohol. This is for the Christmas party, item 31, gas department. And there's a part on there that says request of covering the fees to have a gas department Christmas party with alcohol, which I want to exclude that because I don't want that to be a deterrent. That doesn't make or break anything for us. So just put that aside, and I'd like to give you a little pretext before I ask this. But like I said, my name is Taylor Weston. I've been with the gas department going on 8 years now, and I'm operator level 4 and a crew leader. As you know, our department's going through some changes. We've had some guys retire, got a lot of new guys coming in. And so with that, we're trying to make a lot of steps in the right direction for our department. We're building a house, so to speak. We're taking blocks and we're trying to make the most positive steps we can take. And with that said, one of our intentions is to be very intentional with our personnel, the guys in our department. gas is dangerous. So one of the most important things for us is having trust and having a bond and camaraderie. And so we're trying to do a lot of different things to build our department, which we've never done before, just kind of clocked in and clocked out. So what I was asking and requesting, I didn't want it to be a huge kind of deal, and I say we, is we just wanted to have a venue, a location, to have a Christmas party just for our department so that we could have some team building, so we could, just have a good time together, build some trust and camaraderie. And we just asked the Nick Center if that was something that they would let us just have a card room for a few hours and just to have that event. And so obviously I need to go through you guys. And originally it was just thrown in there, would we be able to have an officer on duty and have some alcohol? And that's probably unrealistic, which we understand. Like I said, that doesn't make or break anything because this is more important to us than having alcohol. This is more on team building and building our department, like I said before. So, it's not going to cost the city any money. We're not taking the place of another event. I've talked to Misty and a couple others about it and wanted to make sure I had my ducks in a row. So from here, I would just ask that it would be something that you think about as an investment in the department. I know it seems on the surface is minuscule, but this is just, like I said, a building block in our department to move in a better direction so that we can build the guys we have, the new guys we have. And this is just step one in that. There's a lot of other ones and a lot of other things we're doing in addition to this. I don't believe any other department has done something like this before. If they have, it's been outside. But like I said, I don't want to ramble. I know y'all have a lot to get to on the schedule. So I'll just leave it at that, and I appreciate your consideration for it. So.
Okay. And I'd be remiss, Taylor, if I didn't tell you the fire department has a wives' ball here at the Civic Center. And that's one group of the city that I know that gets together for like a holiday function.
Okay, well, that's
I don't
good to
know
know.
the others. Yeah.
That's great to know for the city, for sure.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Items 7 through 31?
Good evening, Council. I wanted to clarify on number 14. When I did that green sheet, I did notice that it was not in the budget for the Capital Projects Fund, and I wanted to know if we wanted to go ahead and add that to the Capital Projects Fund, if y'all are planning to approve that tonight.
Well, I think if it gets approved, then it'll have to go into that.
Okay. And I know.
And I think it'll be approved, so I would say yes.
Okay. And I know there was mention of the K-1 Center at one time. Is that something that needs to be added?
Absolutely.
And how much?
Well, worst case is 2.5 million.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. In fact, Jill, even if we get that economic development grant, we have to put that money out first and then be reimbursed. So whether that came from, rainy day fund or whatever, and then we reimbursed 80% of that back to that fund, I mean, it's got to come out of somewhere initially. And it may be that we don't get reimbursed if we don't get the grant. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Okay, I'll close public participation and remind everyone that there's another opportunity to address the council at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. If there was something that you want to discuss, it wasn't on the agenda. Council comments. Councilman Robinson.
I don't have any comment.
Okay, Councilman Conyers.
I was just going to put out there that the Baldwin County Youth Orchestra has a Christmas concert here Thursday night, 7 p.m. So come out and support them, and also reiterating, I think what the mayor said, shop downtown and support our local merchants. It's good for the economy. It's good for the downtown area. It's why a lot of people want to come here and visit, so do what you can to shop downtown during the Christmas season.
Not just downtown, but any independent business.
Okay, fair enough. Asterisk, any independent business.
Jimmy, where is that concert going to be held?
It's going to be here in the Civic Center.
In the Civic Center, okay. All right. Councilman Brown?
No comment.
Councilman Boone?
Yeah, I've got one. They had a real nice ribbon cutting today at the Fairhope Intermediate School for the special needs playground that was put together and put on the school campus prior to Thanksgiving holidays. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Carol Broughton and Chad Clark with the Rotary Club for putting up most of the money. And Carol Broughton is the principal at the school. I'd also like to thank the Baldwin County School Board and Eddie Tyler. And most of all, I'd like to thank my daughter, Brittany Lucky Boone, or Brittany Boone Lucky. Can't give up my daughter, you know. But anyway, she raised primarily most of this money up, and it's well over $50,000 to put this playground on the site, and it did a real nice job. That's it.
Okay. I don't have any comments tonight. I asked the questions that I needed to ask in the work session. We'll move to item 5, which is a public hearing, amending zoning ordinance number 1253. A request to zone the property of LA Development LLC to R2 Medium Density Single Family Residential District concurrent with annexation into the city of Fairhope. The property is generally located on the south side of Manley Road in Fairhope, Alabama, known as Pinewood Phase 2. Would somebody like to introduce the ordinance, please?
I'll introduce it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. King?
And council members, council president, thank you very much. And we have a conditional zoning before you tonight. This is conditional zoning to R2 medium density single family. You see the zoning map before you and on the screens, the location of the site marked in the black triangle. This is south of Manley Road. This is between the existing Saddlewood subdivision and the City of Fairhope Soccer Complex. Council members, we have before you notice under the project type, we have both the case numbers because you have a subdivision case that has been previously approved by the Planning Commission, and then this zoning change that is before you right now. We'll talk, what I'll do is go briefly through all of the details and then reserve as much time for questions as possible. The subdivision itself is 18 lots, and the project site that is requesting annexation 7.42 acres. That yields 2.43 units per acre of your development density. And an aerial image of the same site here. And this particular aerial image was conducted before the soccer complex was constructed. So note that as you see here from the aerial image that we have available to us. And then currently this is unzoned Baldwin County, and you see the case number right there as well as the PPIN. Ursula Godwin is with us tonight with Sawgrass Consulting when we have the opportunity for questions for the developer. And you see the additional basic information of the site. What we'd like to do here on this particular slide is explain just very briefly some of the history of the subdivision cases that you see. The large area you see in green, this is the area under consideration for annexation and zoning to R2. The 6 lots fronting on Manley Road that are on the light orange color, that is from a previous subdivision case. Those are remaining in unzoned Baldwin County. That subdivision case left a remnant parcel, which is parcel 7, and this parcel 7 has been considered and approved by the Planning Commission for the subdivision that is the property encompassing this case right here. You notice in the bullet points on the left, we go through and explain the various case numbers, and that subdivision was approved on October 1st of this year, and we have some basic background information there as well. We can refer back to this to answer questions. What I'd like to do here is just go through the subdivision itself very briefly to address some of the common subdivision issues, then we'll get to the zoning change itself. On the subdivision side, the green space is a major item we look at. In this case, this development has 17% green space, which exceeds the 10% requirement of the subdivision regulations. Also, we look very carefully at the drainage system, as you see in Article 5, Section F of the subdivision regulations. This development proposed using 4 low-impact development techniques in 6 locations. Primary thing that we look at is that the stormwater flows post-development are equal to or less than that of pre-development, which this one satisfies. The total suspended solids removal of the stormwater system is 80%, and also very importantly that of 2, 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100-year storm events, that the stormwater system is designed to handle it. All of that was considered in the subdivision case. We'll also note Silage Drive, which had been previously named in some of the previous subdivisions. It's requested to be named to Dutch Road. This is to avoid confusion with a nearby Silo Drive. Also, we'll note the traffic study requirements of a subdivision case, and in this case, the developer's engineer of record provided correspondence indicating that a traffic study is not required due to the low trip generation of the development. So we'll talk in brief here about the compatibility analysis, where we get into our zoning densities. We'll explain what's requested and what is in the surrounding neighborhood. So this development requests 2.43 units per acre of gross development density. As we've talked about several times on other cases, we looked at the weighted average development density of the surrounding neighborhood, the adjacent properties. That came to 2.03 units per acre. That is a relatively low density, and the background for that is, of course, inside that analysis was the 39-acre soccer complex, which has 0 development density because it has no dwelling units upon it. There are also a number of properties in that area that either have minimal or no dwellings, so which creates a low density. We also note that Saddlewood subdivision was created and then later annexed into the city. And when it was annexed into the city, it was brought in as R1, but its lot sizes are consistent with a development zoned R2. Of course, this development requests R2 as a part of its annexation. And then also Southland subdivision is a planned unit development, a PUD, with variable lot sizes, but its gross development density is 2.35 units per acre. So therefore, the requested 2.43 units per acre, we note here it's less than an allowable 2.9 units per acre as if it was R1 zoning, yet they're requesting R2. So therefore, the staff recommendation is approval of this case. You see the Planning Commission case right there, ZC 18.05, and then again, that is for Pinewood subdivision. Labeled as Phase 2, that's a conditional annexation to R2 medium density single family zoning district. And council members, I'm happy to answer questions. And also, as we said earlier, Mr. Ursula Godwin is here on behalf of the engineer.
Council, do you have any questions for staff or the engineer before we open up the public hearing? Okay, I'll open up the public hearing. If you'd like to speak to this rezoning ordinance, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council, do you have any discussion you'd like to have on this? Comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll let this lay over until the next council meeting, where we'll take it up for final adoption. Moving to item 6 on tonight's agenda, this is a public hearing. This is an ordinance to amend zoning ordinance number 1253, a request to amend ordinance number 1582, known as Old Battles Village PUD. Phases 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The property is owned by Truland Homes, LLC, and is generally located on the east side of Garrison Boulevard in Fairhope, Alabama. Mr. Dias?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, this is a PUD amendment. This PUD began in 2000.
Let me back up just a minute. Can I have somebody introduce the ordinance, please?
I'll introduce it.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, as we said before, this is a PUD amendment to the Old Battles Village PUD. This development began back in 2003 and has changed names, and it's been Old Battles Village for quite some time now. The requested change is basically to include this area called the Hamlet, as you can see from the screen here. It's sort of in the center. The density increase is 4 units over the whole development. So by adding this hamlet, they have increased the density by 4 units. The total development was 177 lots. Now it's 181 lots. So again, that increase of 4 lots. The development density of this neighborhood with this increase is was moved from 2.04 units per acre to 2.09. And so the hamlet, if you can go back to that slide, Buford, I want to point out that the hamlet, these lots are a little bit smaller than the surrounding lots, but if you see from the screen, there is a green belt and buffer areas. This development faces internally to itself. And in any place where there is an adjoining with neighboring properties, there is a green belt there. So there's a separation from the dissimilar lot sizes, a 20-foot wide common area green belt separating the lots on the north and also on the east, and then also a 25-foot wide common green belt separating the lots on the south side, and then a large common area, as you can see from the slide here, that is separating the lots to the south. And so the Planning Commission heard this application at their meeting and recommended approval unanimously. Staff concurs with that recommendation, and we'll be able to take any questions you may have. We also want to point out, too, that this development, the Old Battles Village PUD, is a less dense development than the surrounding properties. When we did our analysis, we looked at the adjoining developments that were approved many years ago. This is actually a less dense development than those. I think that development density was 2.76 units per acre. This is, again, 2.09. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council, if you have any questions for staff before we open up the public hearing? Okay. Hearing none, I'll open up the floor for the public hearing. If you'd like to speak to this amending of this zoning ordinance, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council, any questions for the staff? Wayne, help me recall, I was in the meeting when we unanimously approved the recommendation of this change. Was there any pushback from the public on this? I don't think that there was on that, was there?
Yeah, Council President, if you recall, they had a previous application that they withdrew. And it was a little further south. That was adjoining more of the lots. And so they went back, they withdrew that application, they met with the community, and then they applied for this new application. So this is, there was some pushback originally on the first application, but on this one, I don't recall there being much at all. I think this was sort of isolated. Most of the development that's existing is to the south, and I think with the buffers in place that the applicant put in place to mitigate any sort of dissimilar lot sizes. Again, the density is increased minimally, so it went from 177 to 181 lots. So that wasn't a big deal. The traffic counts would be very, very similar. And again, when they wanted these smaller lots and they want to sell a different kind of product, they are all internally facing. There is buffers that are in place to separate the uses. I think all that put together really sort of alleviated a lot of the concern that the neighborhood had.
Yeah, and I think that if you look at the green space there, you look at the total project for the percentage of coverage, I think that question was asked in the Planning Commission meeting. Is that correct?
It was. I don't have the exact amount. I'll be glad to get that.
No, that's fine. But I mean, if you look
right.
at it, it doesn't look like much, but I think you look at all the phases.
Right. Yes, sir. And there's another common area south of this large common area that includes a pool, a clubhouse, and things like that. So there is quite a bit of common area. And so, but I think that the measures that were put in place to help mitigate some of the dissimilar lot sizes and also an internally facing development, I think that mitigated a lot of the concerns from the neighborhood.
Did they say why they wanted to increase the density by 4 lots?
Mr. Chairman, the applicant's here. He may be able to answer that. I think that what I understood was just trying to sell a product with a smaller lot size, and I think that resulted in 4 units. If you may recall, the original amendment that they withdrew was quite a bit more dense than this one is. So they actually reduced the density. They moved the development further north into the existing development, and so I think the change they made by withdrawing and resubmitting really mitigated that. They reduced the density and, again, moved it forward away from some of the existing development.
Okay. Any questions, council? Okay, hearing no questions, we'll let this lay over for final adoption until the next council meeting. Item number 7 on tonight's agenda is a resolution. The Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute a contract with SEA Entertainment booking agency for the band known as B Street Benny for the New Year's Eve downtown celebration, which will be held on Monday, December 31st, 2018, with a cost not to exceed $5,000. Entertain a motion to pass this resolution.
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Item 8 is a resolution the city council hereby approves to allow parking of RVs behind the library with the following street and lot closures. Close the parking lot behind the public library plus the south side of Magnolia Street adjacent to this lot, the west side of School Street adjacent to this lot to permitted RV parking only from 5 p.m. Friday, February 22nd until 2 p.m. Sunday, February 24th. And that'd be for the Knights of Echo Rouge Parade, and from 2 p.m. Friday, March 1st until 10 a.m. Tuesday, March 5th for the Major Jubilee on Friday night and the Order of Mystic Magnolias on Monday night, and permitting fees and regulations. And I think if you'll look back, either on your MacBook or in your tab in your book, you'll see the permit fees, which we discussed at last meeting's work session of $100 for the first dates and $200 for the second dates. I'd like to entertain a motion to pass this resolution.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There was a comment made at the last meeting that, is it worth all the trouble? And I guess I thought about that a little bit after the last meeting, and it's better to get something than nothing, because there is a little bit of trouble. And it was given away for free for many, many years, those lots were. And so it's really a step forward. And although it's not, it's not meant to be a big revenue producer, it does offset the cost of keeping that up somewhat, and it's being used for that, so.
I'm not opposed to the folks coming and having a nice place to stay. I just wondered if it was worth the trouble, but thank you for answering.
Yeah, I thought about that later, so I appreciate that. Okay, we have a motion and a second, right, Clerk?
Yes, you did.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Item 9 is a resolution the City of Fairhope hereby adopts the AIP grant oversight procedures as presented by the Fairhope Airport Authority. And you can see those on tab 9. They're about 4 pages of procedures and how the oversight, it means that these grants have to be audited, basically, and the FAA technically awards the grant to the City of Fairhope. We accept the funds and then disperse these funds for the improvements that'll be made with this AIP grant. And so therefore, we have to go through the process of adopting these procedures. Did I get all that right, Joe? Okay, any questions? Mr. McInerney's here to answer any questions. Okay. Entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Okay, have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Item 10 is a resolution the City Council approves the selection of Sawgrass Consulting to perform professional engineering services for drainage repairs on Fells Avenue, and authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to execute a contract with Sawgrass Consulting. Would anybody like Mr. Johnson to come up and explain exactly what's going on with the drainage repairs on Fells? I believe that this has been discussed in a prior meeting. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this selection.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Item 11 is a resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Live Engineering Company to perform professional engineering services for the transportation and pedestrian infrastructure improvement projects within the Central Business District with a not-to-exceed amount of $29,000. And council, once again, this was discussed when we authorized the mayor to negotiate the contract last meeting, and they've come back with a not-to-exceed amount of $29,000. So this is just approving the not-to-exceed amount. If anybody has any questions, you can direct them to Mr. Johnson. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the mayor to execute the contract.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution the City of Fairhope approves the negotiated price per memorandum of understanding for bid number 33-18 for erosion control and stabilization of Rock Creek for the Public Works Department, and authorizes the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding and contract with Streamline Environmental with a not-to-exceed amount of $676,875 based on the recommendation of the Public Works Director, Richard Johnson, and Engineer of Record, Volkert. Mr. Johnson, I would like to hear more about this $676,000 expense.
Yeah, not to belabor it, but as you know, y'all issued a resolution where we rejected the bid because it was way out of the expected scope and line of budget for this project. And we're allowed to go and negotiate and value engineer. And I must admit that it was a very successful, more successful than I anticipated. The engineer, with sitting down with the contractor, with me present, the contractor had some great input about using quantities already defined within in the bid price to replace the, in lieu of the sheet piles and things of that nature. And the sheet piles, if you remember, was $145,000 part of that cost. We were able to eliminate that from the project. And we did manage to go from the original amount of $934,475 to a negotiated price for the complete project of $676,875. We did have in this budget and capital $650 for this project, so we got much more in line to what we thought it should be. And it is our recommendation that if we went back and rebid this project based upon the value engineering, I don't know if we would get any better price than this.
Very good, Mr. Johnson. Good success story there.
Thank you.
Council, any questions for Mr. Johnson? Okay. Hearing no questions right now, you will have another chance in just a moment. I'll entertain a motion to approve this price.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now, any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council. Thanks again, Richard, really. Okay, item 13 is a resolution to award RFP number 001-18 for natural gas distribution system leak detection survey to Leak Detection Services with a total proposed amount of $81,972.50. Mr. Peterson? Yes, my question is, it exceeds the budget by about $52,000, and so was the budget number just a shot in the dark, or did the scope of work increase that much?
Well, the
What's
scope of work increased as we went through the process of working with the regulators from the Public Service Commission. They had recommended that we do a full system survey versus trying to do 25% of it a year like we had started out wanting to do with the $30,000 in the original budget. The last survey that was done was in 2014, and they didn't feel comfortable with the documentation that was prepared as a result of it, and felt like we needed to just start over. Going forward, we'll try to go 25% of the system a year and keep on a schedule that's more in line with the budget number that was in this year's budget.
And why was the fixed price chosen over the hourly rate? Were they supposed to give a firm fixed price for this? There were two bids, $165 an hour, $155 an hour, and it's overtime.
We had asked for hourly rates or rates per mile. And with both of those requirements, we asked that they give us, if they were going to do the hourly rate, we wanted to know how many hours it would take to do a mile so we could project forward and look at comparing the two different types of proposals. But we didn't get any response back from those that did hourly rates in terms of how long it would take them. So when we went through and the three of us went through each of the proposals and weighed, and scored them accordingly, the one that followed up on the cost proposal was the one that we thought was more comprehensive.
So the two that gave the hourlies wouldn't really, they would just kind of left you in limbo, wouldn't give you
Yes.
An estimate of hours.
That's correct.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Peterson? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to award this bid number.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all is in favor of approving this RFP. please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Item 14 is a resolution to award bid number 001-19 for a Marina Electrical at the pier to Bill Smith Electric with a total bid proposal of $278,164. And council, I think we beat this to death in the work session, but do you have any further questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to award the bid to Bill Smith Electric.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15 is a resolution to award bid number 003-19 to WTTP Outfall Repairs to Blue Diving and Salvage with a total bid proposal of $53,900. Mr. Whitman?
That's a success story, it looks like.
Had it says it's $452,000 under budget, but was it actually budgeted at $506,000 for outfall repairs? I don't think so.
Okay. I'll just-
Yeah,
But I'll take that.
will you? Okay. You want to take credit for that savings?
Being 90% under budget?
I think it made us look good, didn't it?
Yeah, it made you look great. I don't know if I believe it,
There were
but
some other things included in that $500,000.
I think so. I think so as well. What was the estimate for just this outfall repair?
I think it was between $50,000 and $100,000.
Yeah. The original estimate we came up with, we thought would be between $50,000 and $100,000.
Okay. All right. Now, we obviously have to fix this. This is for the clean water that's being put back into the bay.
Perfectly clear.
I had someone this morning on the radio say that, well, good, that'll fix the bacteria problem. I said, no, we'll have nothing to do with that. It's clean water to begin with.
Right.
And one of these, have y'all drank that yet?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
I've got to do that one day.
It just has an algae test.
I'm going to take some antibiotic just right afterwards, just to be sure, but, have you done that yet, Mayor?
No, I haven't, but I would.
Let's go down there and drink a glass of water.
Yeah.
You want to go down there and drink a glass of that water?
Just has a real strong green taste to it. We'll survive.
I'm not going to volunteer to do that, Council President.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do it. All right, I'll entertain a motion to award the bid for the outfall repairs to Blue Diving and Salvage.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16 is a resolution to purchase 3 2019 Chevy Tahoes for the police department. The type of vehicle needed is on the Alabama State Department of Purchasing bid list. Therefore, it does not have to be let out for bid with a total cost of $120,499.92. This project's budgeted. I'll entertain a motion to approve this purchase.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'll just say that on the resolution, it says the total cost for 5 is $120,499.92. I don't know how important that is, but it should be total cost for 3, right?
I think that's correct, yes.
I don't know if that matters or not.
Yeah, it's just a typo we can change. Thank you for catching that. And also, I think that it's under budget because I believe we cut one out of the budget, which is why it's under budget by that amount. Okay, where are we at, clerk? Need a-
You have a motion and a second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the purchase, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council. Item 17 is a resolution to purchase a 2019 Ford cargo van for the water department. The type of vehicle needed is on the Alabama State Department of Purchasing bid list. Therefore, it does not have to be let out for bid with a total cost of $23,200. I'll entertain a motion to purchase the van.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. A little bit over budget, I will state, about $5,200 over budget. You guys okay with that?
We'll make it up somewhere else.
I hear you. It still sounds pretty cheap for a van.
We can make it up
Yeah.
on the next one, it's 68 under.
Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the van, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 18 is a resolution to purchase the Is that really a 2006?
It's up.
Okay.
We found this one, Tim Bond found this one on the.
On the gov deals or
Right,
something?
and it has a service winch that would cost us somewhere around $15,000 to have installed, and it's already installed. That's why we selected that. And also, it's $6,800 under budget. And it only has 50,000 miles. It's in great shape.
Wow. That's
Yeah, we got
perfect.
lucky with that.
Good job, Tim. All right. We have entertained a motion to purchase the 2006 F-550 pickup truck for the Water Department.
So moved. Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 19 is a resolution to procure a John Deere commercial front mower for the Public Works, the street department in particular, and the equipment is available for direct procurement through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op, therefore it does not have to be let out for bid. This has been nationally bid through Sourcewell's bid process. The cost will be $22,591.14. I'll entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. $4,000 under budget. They're getting good at budgeting, I tell you. It's always under now. I like it. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council. Item 20 is a resolution to procure an automated side loader refuse truck for the Public Works Department. The equipment is available for direct procurement through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op, therefore it does not have to be let out for bid. It's already been nationally bid through Sourcewell's bid process with a cost of $236,912. Somebody want to tell me if that's over or under budget?
1,900 under.
Over budget slightly, pretty good though. I'll entertain a motion for the purchase. What's that? We make it up on the next. Oh, yeah, okay. I see how it is. Okay.
So moved.
Now, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 21 is a resolution to procure a rear loading recycle truck for the Public Works Department. The equipment is available for direct procurement through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op, therefore it does not have to be let out for bid. It's already been nationally bid through the Sourcewell's bid process at a cost of $155,999. I'll entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay. And clerk, I didn't see that in there, just to let you know, I have 21 in there twice. I think that was, let's see. Yeah, you see that? Did anybody else have that? Is it on the computer, correct?
Yes.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah. It's in the computer, correct. I had the garbage truck under that tab in 21. If anybody else had a hard copy that was looking at that. Okay, I see it on the computer now. We're good. We're good. I just want to make sure the resolution is right there. Okay. All right, item number 22 is a resolution to purchase additional software for the police department for incident management for patrol officers. The software is available for direct procurement without formal bidding provided by the Code of Alabama. The total cost yearly for 2 years is $36,097.50 for a total cost of $72,195. I'll entertain a motion to purchase the software.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Anybody like to ask Jeff any questions about this? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 23 is a resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute change order number 1 to bid number 005-18 Library Envelope Repairs 2019, which adds an additional 45 calendar days to the contract for miscellaneous repairs due to unforeseen conditions discovered upon demolition and affects the critical path schedule and awards the change order to M.W. Rogers Construction. The change order will extend the contract time from 150 calendar days to 195 calendar days. I'll entertain a motion to approve the extension.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I guess, Mr. Peterson, I have one quick question on this. Do we anticipate any cost increase based on this? There's nothing in there about a cost increase.
No, sir, we're trying to still get numbers from the contractor, some of the square footage cost that he's added to the back of the building where he's replaced some sheathing and he's replacing stucco, and so there's a unit price for all that, and the contractor hadn't finalized his numbers at this point. We think we're very close to the limit that we had set up in the contract for contingency items.
Okay.
But while we're talking about it, and I don't know if Brooke wants to, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but we're getting to the octagon shape of the building, and there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on that area. And there was a question that came up as to whether or not the contractor can work the waterproofing underneath the moisture barrier effectively or not without taking it all out. So we just want to prepare y'all that there may be a decision that needs to be made about how far to take the octagon shape and the stucco part of the building above the roof line in the next week maybe?
Yes, sir. At this time, I don't think we're going to have to remove it. We haven't found anything really on it. We're just going to cut it back to reveal the vapor barrier on the building and then tie back in with a roll-on type moisture barrier that has been spec for the outside. You like to speak? I don't need to take the floor first.
Yeah. Did you want to add to it? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. All right.
One other thing we might
Sure.
want to bring up, the contractor may ask for another 15 days of extended time as we go through this process of the octagon and trying to get the waterproofing set up right underneath the existing stucco that's not been removed.
Should we make it 60 days?
Yes, sir, if you would, I would greatly appreciate it. What I don't want to happen is for them to feel rushed and start taking, shortcuts and cutting corners because we're pushing them to rush by a certain date. We have found quite a bit of unforeseen damages on that building, and it's taken a lot of time. The weather hasn't been real good to us as well, and we're still right smack in the middle of it.
Council, I may ask, who made the motion to retract the motion? If y'all would desire and increase it to 60 days, we'll get 5 minutes of our life back.
The motion was made by Conyers.
I will retract the motion.
Okay, motion's retracted. Would somebody like to amend the motion to extend the contract for an additional 60 calendar days?
I'll amend the motion to extend the contract from 45 to 60.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, on the motion to amend the resolution to add an additional 60 calendar days, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, and on the resolution to add an additional 60 calendar days to the contract for miscellaneous repairs, I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to extend the contract 60 calendar days. Any further discussion? We appreciate that, bringing that up. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, amended resolution carries. Thank you. Item 24 is a resolution. Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute amendment number 1 to bid number 023-18, 6 overhead doors for the fire station. The amendment reduces the original contract cost from $27,864 to $11,072.88. The change of the scope of work to installation only from Bailey Door Incorporated. I'll entertain a motion to approve this amendment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, amendment is approved. Thank you, council. Item 25 is a resolution that certain items are declared surplus, and the mayor and city treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to dispose of personal property owned by the city of Fairhope by one of the following methods: receiving bids for such property via gov deals sold to the highest bidder provided. However, the city council should have the authority to reject all bids when its opinion it deems the bids to be less than adequate consideration for the personal property. Or 2, sold for scrap or recycle at the highest offered value. And 3, disposal via landfill. Council, you should see an attached list, all those items for resale. I'll entertain a motion to declare these surplus and have them disposed of.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Makes me think of Mr. Hall that had a lot to do with that again that passed recently. Item 26 is a resolution that the City Council hereby approves and amends rules and regulations for the Fairhope docks and the license and lease agreements and establishes Addendum A to the license and lease agreements for dockage space. Entertain a motion to approve these amendments.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any questions for Ms. Mazur? Have we got all of these taken care of at the last meeting, if I don't recall, the last work session? Okay, hearing no further questions or discussion, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 27 is a resolution authorizing Mayor Karen Wilson to execute a contract between the City of Fairhope and the Baldwin Pops for an appropriation of $6,000. That would be in cash and in-kind services in the amount of $11,020. Resources including personnel but not security after normal business hours, and provides an exception to the sign ordinance by allowing banners for their citywide events to be displayed 10 days prior to those events to advertise and promote the City of Fairhope, to provide free concerts yearly for the residents of Fairhope. I'll entertain a motion to pass this resolution.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion. You know, at first, I think I said this last time we talked about it, and we tabled this, that, you know, I hate that we have to pay now that we hadn't been paying for many, many years, but when I found out that that's what other cities were paying, that I do think that there would be panic in the streets if we didn't have Baldwin Pops, and I don't want to be one to vote against something like that, so I'd be in favor of this. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 28 is a resolution the City Council hereby adopts and approves the remaining sections of the FY 2018 to 2019 budget as specified. So council, that is just be the general government portion. If you looked at the edits of October the 8th, 2018, it is the item under general government that's amended proposed $4,242,555. That amounts to 6.46% of the budget for those of you that are counting that. And I'd say before we entertain a motion for that, I know there may have been some discussion. Is there any parts of that anybody's uncomfortable with? This does not change this doesn't change the sales tax ordinance. That'd have to be done via ordinance at another time. Any other comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt and approve the remaining sections of the FY 2018-2019 budget.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget with the one amendment, and that is to go ahead and add the one extra year of debt payoff, $460,000, I believe. We have not a real benefit to paying it off early, as it's basically down to principal now, but we also have $1.3 million set aside in a account for debt prepayment, and there's no real benefit to leaving that money just sitting there. So I would say it's probably makes sense to go ahead and wipe that out, but I'd make that motion with the added debt reduction. Knock it out in 19.
Do we have a second?
Lisa, if we were to vote on this tonight and it was voted down, is there any restriction on it being on the next agenda I feel like there was a time where there was something where if it was something that was voted down, there was a time before it could come back on the agenda.
60 days before it gets back on the agenda.
So if it's voted down tonight, it can't come back on the agenda for 2 months.
Should we suspend with the rules, though, to put it back on there? I think we could maybe suspend with our own rules to do that.
Probably so.
If Jay will do that.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I want to make a comment before that, along those same lines, if it's 60 days before we vote on this again. As Jill mentioned, the K1 property is not accounted for in this budget. And a lot of the infrastructure upgrades, I know there's money out there in reserves, but it's still not laid out in a orderly fashion of how this is going to be paid for this year.
There is money in the cash reserves to pay for the K1. I mean, it's just a matter of looking at all of the unrestricted funds, which they're laid out in the budget. You can make transfers accordingly.
Yeah. I think, if I can address that too, I think what we would have to do would be to take the money from the rainy day fund just initially, and if we get the grant, we'll be able to replenish it pretty quick, all but 20% of that, or so all but 500,000 of that. And then we could deal with how we're going to replenish those funds, whether that be through transfer to offset. What you would do is you just transfer funds to the general fund and then divert sales tax. Via ordinance, it wouldn't change. It's required that 1% go back until you replenish the rainy day fund.
And as of July 31st, just to give you all a ballpark, in the general fund available plus reserve cash, we had about $12 million. So.
Okay. All right. So we still have a motion, still looking for a second?
For fear that it would not pass tonight, I don't want us to have to wait 60 days to vote on it again, so I don't.
I'm going to vote for it.
You're going to vote to approve it?
Yeah.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Then I make
The ordinance for sales tax can be written for next council meeting.
Then I second the motion.
Yep, okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. That a 4-1 carry? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council. Item 29 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope recognizes the importance of the community-based initiative and strongly supports the creation of the City of Fairhope Parks and Recreation Connectivity Master Plan, working with the National Park Service and the RTCA program. Entertain a motion for passage of this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Item 30 is an appointment to the Education Advisory Committee. The nominee for a 3-year term is Tanya Bosarge for a term ending November 2021. I'll entertain a motion to approve the nominee.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item 31 is a request from Taylor Wesson, the Gas Department, requesting the use of the card room at the James P. Nix Center for the Gas Department's Christmas party, free of charge on December 14th, 2018, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., and to allow alcohol on city property. Entertain a motion to grant this request.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Chief Hollinghead, any reason to deny the gas department? Any reason to deny them alcohol? Okay. All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
I'd just like to add that, Taylor, I really appreciated your comments during public participation. Sorry you had to sit here till the very last item, but well-spoken, and I liked your approach towards building kind of a team atmosphere and developing some camaraderie. I think that's really important when you're dealing with something that can be very dangerous, to kind of have everybody's back. So appreciated that earlier.
Very good. All right, next item is public participation. If you have anything else to bring forth before the council, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. You can, yeah, that's open floor, so yes, you can. You can't outdress everybody, though, when you approach the podium. Fine for that, sir. You look nice. And just slip the jacket on?
Slip the jacket on to look
Pretty slick.
I'm Ann Brooks, the Executive Director of Ball and Pops. Our agenda item was passed. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Just an item of clarification that since 2001, we've used for our rehearsals on Tuesday night, the Civic Center.
Right.
In exchange for playing the concerts at no charge
Right.
for the city.
That
So-
thing's still available. You can still use it.
Well, last year, we were only able to use it, or weren't able to use it 1/3 of all of our rehearsal dates.
Right.
So it's just become a burden to the staff there, and just, we had to pay for other rehearsal sites,
Right.
and had to pay for trucks and rentals to move the equipment to other non-band room rehearsal sites.
Right.
So we are moving our permanent rehearsal site, so we will not be in that in-kind exchange, and that's why we're requesting payment.
And just so you know, and you weren't here, but we discussed that at the work session at our last meeting, so we were aware of that we were also giving you those in-kind services, and that's why we're paying now. It's just, I think we'd be more in favor of the in-kind, but if you must move and practice somewhere else, we understand that as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I'll close public participation, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, council.
Session?